Hey friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com. I had to get out of the sun. It's so hot here. When the pool water is 91 and you step in it and it feels chilly, then you know the air temp is really hot. And even being in a pool all day, I had to get out of the sun. But it's a perfect time to do a video. And I'm on the B of my A to Z Tarot series for publications. And I think, I could be mistaken, but I think the only B publications that I found were like indie publications. If I find something else intermittently, I'll just show it. This is very informal. But the three decks that I found published by B was one that I showed yesterday, the Philly Tarot. And I didn't show too many cards from this in the 4th of July reading that I did, but I did put a link below in that descriptive area to show the individual cards, because I have done a showcasing of this deck. So I'm not going to go into that now. If you want to see every card in this Philly deck, look at the 4th of July reading I did, and then look in the descriptive area. And you really ought to check out my descriptive areas, because some of them lead to interesting rabbit holes. But at any rate, I digress. The other publications that began with B, an indie house, were the Baba Studios. And I have two, I think I only have two from them. I have the Victorian Romantic Tarot. This one was published in 2012. I understand that there have been 4 publications, so I don't know which one this is. I have a feeling it's maybe the first or maybe the second, I don't know. It's an early one. Whatever one was done in 2012 is the one I got. It came with a little postcard kind of thing. It came with a little weight book and an additional card. And I've never showcased this deck because I got it before I began my channel. And probably when I was doing my channel, I never thought of showing this deck. So I'll take the opportunity to showcase this deck right now. The other, because some of you may have a later edition and you may be curious as to what an earlier edition might have looked like in comparison. I think for at least the box has changed. This was the box for the 2012. The other one I have that I'm not going to go through every card is the Tarot of Prague. Now, I do not think this was a first edition. This was published in 2016. And I think the publication dates are from 2003 to 2016. So there must, I don't know how many editions of this there had been, but it must have started in 2003, the first edition. And by the time I got this one, it was copyright 2016. I'll show a couple of these cards. You know, I never took to this deck, the Tarot of Prague. I mean, I love the idea, and I would love to see the city of Prague. My husband was recently there when he visited Germany, and he said it was amazing, and I know it was. But I'm not so sure that this deck did it justice. But anyway, I digress. Let me flip the camera, and I'll show the cards of this particular Victorian Romantic Tarot, because I've never shown it before. And as I mentioned, some of you may be interested to see what an earlier edition looked like if they're on their 4th edition already. All right, this is a large, oversized deck. There's no way I can riffle shuffle it. Even if the cardstock is riffle shuffleable, my hands are too small. It has a gold edge, which I think in 2012 was kind of novelty. I think it was not a standard thing. So I think that's something that made everyone go, ooh, when they saw this. There may have been others that were gold edged before, but I'm not so sure. It does seem to subscribe to the Rider-Waite-Smith or Waite-Coleman-Smith tradition. I believe they had 2 lovers. Yep, they did. 2 lover cards. And you could pick the one you want. I I just kind of thought this one looked kind of cartoony. So I opted for this one. Oh, here are the backs. The cardstock is nice. It's got, let's see how close I can get to it to show. The front has a waxy feel, not textured, pretty slick. There might be, you can see there's like a very slight pebbled texture, very, very slight. And the back seems to have more of a texture, maybe for ease of shuffling. But as I mentioned, it's too large for me to shuffle anyway. Now I accidentally, oh no, I didn't. Yeah, I accidentally put, oh no, strength would have, in this deck, strength would have been 8. So I thought maybe I put justice there by mistake, but it's strength. This kind of accomplishes the same sort of thing that the Tarot of Delphi did, where we have older artworks. Let me see. I guess from the Victorian era. Artwork from the, I mean, I didn't reread the thing, but if it's called Victorian, then I guess it's, Victorian art. I guess this one came out first. The Delphi, I think, came out in 2014. So, but I think they kind of do the same thing. They just took artwork from the period of time, and I'm not sure. I think the Tarot of Delphi might have done it better. This is an interesting image for death, however. That's a beautiful star card, though. I just wish the stars were a little more prominent. And here, I don't even see the moon. Where is the moon? On her head, that's it. This one always felt like, if you look at it carefully, it looks like there's a corrugated texture to the original, like it was done on corrugated cardboard or something. It's kind of strange. I'm sure it wasn't, but that's what it looks like. Some of the cards I think are lovely. Just, very nice. But for me, it was more of a deck just to have in a collection of, beautiful pictures, but not necessarily a deck I would reach for interpretation. Even though you can clearly, I think it pretty much sticks to Pamela Coleman Smith. So if you know that deck, then you can make, I think, easy associations. I don't think it'll be that hard. Well, look at that. She's out on a ledge. I mean, some of the images are striking and evocative. Look at that. I'm not going to lie. I think some of them are really, but some of them, they don't do anything for me. It's a beautiful Ace of Cups, though, isn't it? Yeah, some of them are real nice. I mean, it required effort, to, here's a wish fulfillment card. Maybe that's Falstaff, I'm not sure. So I'm spending more time on this deck, on this video for B, because I have never done a video on this deck. So I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone and just show the deck. And I think you can definitely see the association with the Coleman Smith deck for sure. Okay, now for the Tarot of Prague. I didn't even bother to put this one in order. I never really, I wanted to love this deck, but unfortunately, I really don't. This one came out in 2016. The reason I didn't care for it was, unlike the Romantic Tarot, the Victorian Romantic, or the Romantic Victorian, what do they call it? The Victorian Romantic. This one has like disjointed images. Like, it's a beautiful image of, and then they have this like cartoon figure kind of pasted in there. I mean, some of it's better than others, but I mean, they have an image that's from one source, an image from another source, and then an image from another source, and it's just like, what? I mean, some of it's okay. This one doesn't bother me. Some of it they pull off, but a lot of it just kind of bugs me. It's kind of interesting. Like this one. Come on. So maybe they were experimenting with cut and pasting images and like conglomerate imagery, but I don't know, it just didn't work for me. I'm not really sure how popular this one ended up being. Or maybe my edition was a stinker, Maybe the earlier editions were better. I don't know what edition, as I mentioned, I don't know what edition this is. It says 2003 to 2016, so it must have been around a while. Like, you see what I'm saying? It works in some, not so good in others. So this is what I have for, oh, he has an hourglass. Interesting, an hourglass that's lit up. Well, that's an interesting thing. So this is it for my bees. If I find any other bee publications, I might do a quickie video for them, but I think these three are it. Now here we have a city and then a horse hanging upside down. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it makes sense. Maybe it relates to a story or something, or reference. But it seems like there's too many cartoony images up against authentic images, and just, like, see? Okay, maybe this is a legit image, but then they have this little dog stuck in there. I hope what I'm talking about comes through. And I'm sure there's somebody who loves this deck, and I don't mean to suggest that you don't have good taste or anything. It's just not my cup of tea. I still bought it though. They got a lot of money out of me for it, so I gave it a shot. But then after I bought this deck, I no longer pursued anything from Baba. I never bothered. I know they have a the Alice Tarot or Alice in Wonderland kind of, and I have 2 Alice in Wonderland tarot decks done by other people, but I never pursued. I think that one's probably the masterpiece. I don't know. That one might be the hard to get deck from this publishing house. I don't know. Anyway, here are my 3. Until next time, friends, peace, stay well, be kind, do no harm.